All right, here we are. So welcome to Soul Chats with Psychic Medium Dani Joe. And tonight I am super honored to have an amazing special guest, my friend Losha. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to talk with you tonight.
Yes, awesome. Also, as we go tonight, if we have any questions, I'll repeat those for you from the viewers. So anybody that's watching, feel free to ask Losha a question. But Losha has a pretty cool story about what she's doing currently in the world. But I want to just kind of back up a little bit, and I want to talk about how you and I met, but tell everybody who's watching who might not know you, where did you come from?
All right. Well, yeah, in this lifetime.
Yes.
I originally lived most of my life in California, and my husband and I moved to South Dakota in about 15 years ago. And I'll tell you, South Dakota feels like home. It just feels like home for me. And we are blessed to live here, and I'm blessed to have all the friends that I have, including you, in this area. And I think one of the biggest things that happened was I was in a car accident almost 20 years ago, and suffered a brain injury. And because of that, I had been in the fast lane at a corporate business in California, and I was a type A personality, and I wasn't focused on the spiritual at all. And when I got my brain injury, it literally slowed me down in many different ways. And I was slowed down enough that I finally started feeling spirituality coming through me. I started channeling at that point. I didn't believe what I was hearing for a long time. I think I was hearing it even before, but I wasn't paying attention. And so I started paying attention, and that's when I really started channeling and became very spiritual, at least in my estimation, and I feel that way.
Crazy. So I have to ask you, do you think that your brain injury opened that up for you?
Oh, totally. Totally. I think, I believe that we kind of plan some of our life events before we're here. And I think that I wasn't listening enough and to life. And I planned that accident so that I would start listening. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. I didn't know also, or maybe I had forgotten about that. Or maybe I didn't know it was 20 years ago, but that was about the time that I had my head-on collision that was my spiritual awakening trigger also.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, interesting. That was kind of the same time frame for us.
That is amazing. That
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah, cool. So just to kind of talk a little bit about how we met before we talk about what you're doing. I have the worst memory, and I always tell whoever I'm interviewing, I'm going to tell you what I remember, and then you tell me the whole story.
I may not remember either.
So we're in the same boat. Good. I believe you came into the shop and booked an appointment, and that would have been probably our first interaction.
Somebody told me about you before I went into the store. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I remember working with you and really just feeling the draw to your spirituality and your kind of search for where that was taking you. And at some point, you had talked to me about these little message cards. And I want you to kind of tell everyone the story about that and what that is for you.
Okay. Awesome. I think I might have just been starting with these cards kind of at the time you and I first had our first session, because it's been maybe almost a year now that I've had these out. But there's a little backstory to this, which I find interesting, is that literally 20 years ago, 2004, I did what I call version 1.0 of these, what I call heart cards. They're small cards, business card size, that have positive, uplifting messages on them. And I made them 20 years ago with a printer, and I would just give them to people throughout the day just to try to lift their spirits a little bit. And truthfully, it didn't really take off 20 years ago. So I just about a year ago, I saw some inventory of those cards, in my closet, and I decided, well, I can still give them out now. So I started doing that, and then I started realizing, I think a guide told me in my head that I could create a version 2.0 now. The technology was so much better now that I could create something that I think is much more beautiful and colorful and uplifting. So I've put a lot of effort into creating these cards. In the beginning, there were 4 different topics, and now there's 17 topics. So it's grown. About half of the cards I created kind of for young children, because I felt that was a really important group that really could benefit from uplifting, empowering sayings, and then the others are for so-called adults or whatever. And I really enjoy giving them out. I've got some stories about giving them out, and the reactions when you give them to some people are just amazing.
Yeah, I want you to share a couple of stories, but for everybody watching, Losha, just to over her shoulder, you'll see a little rack of the heart cards there. So, yep. So those are the heart cards. And I remember when you were in the store and you said, hey, I have these little cards. Actually, I think the first time you were in, you gave one to me and Brooke. And I thought, how special and sweet is that? It made my day.
I usually do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually give them first.
And then when you were in, I think maybe for your session, you said something about these cards and that you were leaving some in businesses, and would I like to have some at the register there just to give out? And I thought, yeah, sure, of course, didn't think anything really of it, just other than how cool, we're going to have this cool thing for the clients. But we've gone through a few. I know you've brought us in several more cards, but the coolest thing is to hear people. I'm not usually at the register, but I hear people say, oh, are these free? Can I take one? And Brooke will say yes, and take some to give out. And people are so excited about these heart cards.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Tell us a couple of stories about giving them out, things that stood out to you that you remember.
There's been a lot of them for me. And just if I can backtrack for a second, I actually created a group on Facebook called Heart Card Stories and Community. And that is where I'm hoping I like to have people come and share stories themselves about giving, if they've had a nice heartfelt reaction from somebody, to share it, because that gets everybody together as a community, and it gets people excited to give them out more, I think. And so that's what I enjoy. So I was at Walmart one time, and there was an older lady checking out in front of me, and I was next to her just waiting for her to finish up. And I just sensed her energy was low. And so I always carry a bunch of heart cards in my pocket, and I've learned to kind of trust my intuition as to which one to pick out. I don't sit there and go through and read them and try to decide. I just pick whatever comes into my hand. And that one happened to be one that it says angels are watching over you. And so I went up next to her and I just quietly said, I'd just like to give this to you. And she looked at it, and she was quiet for a moment, and it looked like she was about to cry. And she says, you don't know how much I needed this today. She said, I just lost somebody, and this is really, really helpful to me. And then she says, you are my angel. And then, we hugged. And, I mean, I think besides just uplifting people, I think I've thought about this a lot, and I think what it comes down to is that I've heard this phrase before, more recently, is that people, somebody will say, "I see you," and like you see the person they really are. And I feel like these heart cards really help people to feel seen and valued and loved, at least momentarily. And so that's really the goal of why I'm doing this, is just to help people feel more loved. I mean, we need it in this world.
I love that. I love that. I somebody said that's awesome. I have seen your heart cards change a little bit, where you've added more sayings and laminating most of them and whatnot. So they're morphing and changing into beautiful gifts. I want you to repeat your Facebook group again. You cut out just a little bit when you said it, and I want everybody who might have some interest in this to go over and join her page. And also, maybe you have a business that you want to have some heart cards in, or you want to support Losha in some way. So tell us the Facebook group again.
Okay, yeah, it's Heart Card Stories and Community.
Perfect.
I think if you just put in heart cards, I think it'll come up, but if not, add stories and it should come up.
Perfect.
I want to say one thing about the laminating. I was having somebody else, a printer, laminate them for me in the beginning, and that really wasn't working. I was a bit particular about how they were being cut, and it was not to my liking. So I had to make the decision that I was going to laminate myself. And then I found these, instead of an 8.5 by 11 that I would then chop up and trim and everything, which was very laborious, I found business card sized laminating pouches.
Oh.
And they're a bit expensive, but they're well worth it. So each one of these goes into a laminating pouch, and I can do 3 at a time, and I do them almost every night to make them. So I mean, I do 100 sets of the heart cards at a time, which is 1,700 cards. And so, when I get a new batch of heart cards, like I just did recently, I'm laminating almost every night. So, but I wanted to say the reason I also like laminating them myself is that I feel like I'm putting a little bit of myself into these cards, and I like to think that it's a positive energy. So it's important to me to do the laminating, and I enjoy holding and touching each card.
Totally. It's a labor of love for you, where it's a job for someone else.
Right.
Yeah. And
right.
Totally makes a difference in you putting your energy into it. I love that.
I play beautiful, wonderful music while I'm doing it, and it's just a wonderful time.
That's amazing. So if there's anybody watching who has received one of the heart cards or seen them at a business, comment here and let us know that. Also, there might be a few people watching the replays. So if so, reach out to Losha and let her know that you heard this and how you found or how you've received a heart card. Tell me also, do you have a website?
I have a website, but it's been used so far for channeled messages, written channel messages. I have not put anything about the heart cards on my website. However, I did just add recently, I've been adding the new symbol designs, which we might talk about next on my website.
Yes. Let's talk about that. I was wondering how we go into that subject. So not only do you create these heart cards to share with people, you also channel messages, which we heard you say happened after your accident. So for people that don't understand what channeling is, maybe share with them what that is, but then also kind of what your website and that is about.
Okay, yeah, well, channeling was a really interesting to me when I first started kind of hearing things, literally hearing not so much voices in my head, but words. And I didn't, a lot of people I think do feel the same thing, and they don't, we don't believe that we're hearing things accurately or what we're hearing. And I finally just started to believe, and and realized it was another being, talking to me.
Yeah.
And so I started channeling for friends and things like that a long time ago, and I got some confidence in it. And I will say, one of the big areas of my channeling that caused me to actually create this website, it's called livewithlosha.com. And was I started hearing, I'm sorry, this cracks me up still. It was about 2 years ago. I started hearing somebody talking to me, and I at the time I didn't really want to channel, and I was rebuffing whoever it was. And then I finally realized it was John F. Kennedy.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I was kind of involved in the geopolitical side of things back then.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Keeping my awareness about what was going on around, and looking at some different truths and things like that. And sure enough, he came through me, and I created this website. And if you go onto my website, there's almost 40 messages from John F. Kennedy.
Amazing.
That I did over several months, and maybe even a year and a half. And so that was the main thing that I was kind of known for a little while. And then I kind of got burned out on channeling messages. So I kind of quit doing that. I got into the heart cards. That's been very enjoyable to me. But lately, I've been about a year and a half ago, I felt like I had to scribble some symbols down. I just felt like something was trying to come through, and it was visual in this case. And I've never, people, when they channel, they'll use whatever sense is their strongest sense, either their auditory or their visual, or, whatever. There's, different senses. And this was visual, and it was different for me. And I started channeling these symbols, and I've been working with them for a few months now, and they're turning into what I'm calling designs. And I feel they have powerful, powerful energy behind them and within them. And it's coming from a group called the Pleiadian Collective. And I do believe that I have had at least one lifetime or many lifetimes in the Pleiades with the Pleiadians. And in fact, that's where my name Losha is from. My Pleiadian name is Jalosha. And so I went with Losha because I resonate with it so much. And so anyway, I've been channeling these designs now in the last few months, and really enjoying this new process.
I love it. And I actually have one of your designs that you gifted me, and I absolutely, absolutely adore it. So for anyone who's got some curiosity about that, I know maybe on your phone won't show up so well, but could you show them an example?
Yeah, I can try to pull one up on my phone here. I yeah, see what I can come
So
up with
these
here.
designs are just beautiful symbols of messages full of energy.
Can't see here.
There you go. Yes. So beautiful art, beautiful symbols. That's fantastic.
A lot of different symbols in this one. This was my first real design,
Nice.
and since that time, I've been. I'll show you my latest one, and I've done a few for individuals, like you've just mentioned. This is kind of my latest one. Sorry. It's kind of hard to
I
see.
love that. Love it.
The colors are kind of weird on the on the computer, but
It's gorgeous.
they're
Gorgeous.
really evolving the symbols and the lines, and I just can't believe how powerful they feel to me. And I guess I could just add too that these designs I feel are uplifting and provide positive energy. So I have chosen on the back of my heart cards to have printed one of these designs because I feel like it just adds another positive aspect to these heart cards to just keep the positive energy flowing.
That's amazing. That's awesome. So if you get a heart card, you might also get a beautiful design with it. That's awesome. Original artwork of Losha. I love that. So Deb Silvernagel asked, could you show what a few of the heart cards have on them? So I don't know if you can show any of those, but maybe a couple.
Yeah, let me see what I can do here. All righty. Let's see here.
I also love that they're all full of color.
Yeah, this is my favorite one. You are loved. The back is all the same for every heart card. Here's that. Unfortunately, everything's backwards here. The print of the design didn't come out very well on this particular color of paper. So
Sure.
I know that it doesn't always look great, but it says pay it forward, share the love. And then at the bottom, please, I can't even read it here, but please join the Facebook group. I've got a QR code that I figured out how to print on this.
That is so funny, Losha. I was going to say you ought to put a QR code on the back of those for your Facebook group, and you already did.
And it has been so awesome. People have found the Facebook group because of the QR code, and I'm really happy. There was a lady from Gillette, Wyoming, who said she came home, emptied her purse out from shopping, I guess in Spearfish somewhere, and she emptied her purse out, and she had a great mom. It said, "You are a great mom," heart card in her purse, and she said she has no idea who put it in her purse, when it happened, anything, just sometime during the day. And she came home and found it, and then she found the group because of the QR code. So I was able to explain to her. She said, "What's the story on this?" And so I was able to explain it to her, and she said she would pass it on to another great mom. So it's just awesome. There's you are a special person.
Beautiful.
And again, the backs are all the same. I'll show you each of them if you want. You are a beautiful soul. This is one of my favorites. Angels are watching over you.
Oh, yes. Love that.
With the wings. I love those wings. I found those recently. I'm always kind of playing with the images, the icons, trying to get nice ones. Have an amazing day. I give this one out a lot. Is it okay if I just keep showing these?
Absolutely. I love it.
I think people would like to see them. Your smile brightened my day. You are awesome. That's my favorite because I like saying that. And then a lot of people asked for this one. Thank you for the great service.
Nice.
So people like that one. And then this is the one we were talking about. You are a great mom. And I like that icon that I found, a mom and a baby. Really like that. Am I going too fast?
No, you're good.
The other thing I wanted and people mentioned was a military gratitude card. And so I created this one. Thank you for your service and my freedom.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I really like that eagle with the flag in it. I just thought that was really cool. I don't give a lot of those out, but when I do, it's really special to me. And then this one is when something isn't always going great. Everything is going to be okay. I started out with a lot more words in this one, something like, I know times are tough for you right now, and just know I'm here for you. And I just decided to make it a little simpler.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are the ones that I did for children. You are special. I love this one, and kids really like the colors in it. And then you can do it. I made the cards are brighter and a little darker. Actually, they're brighter because I learned that the kids really like the bright colors. So you are a good friend. And 3 more, then we're done. Just be you. And then this one, you have a big heart.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And then you are a great helper. And just a side note, those are all of them. There's 17 of them right now.
Beautiful.
And I'm always open to hearing about creating new ones, new topics. In fact, if somebody has a business where a certain type of topic would really be helpful, 1 or 2 different types of cards would be really helpful or something, I'd be glad to create them, and so somebody can make a whole bunch of them, or I can make a whole bunch for them. Yeah. So I forgot what I was going to say. I wanted to say that if you do go to my Facebook group, there is a post that I did where I made a few separate ones for a 2nd grade teacher in our town here in Spearfish, a friend of mine. And she is really a great teacher and already has the kids working on positive mantras and things like that. And so I gave her a whole bunch of cards for the kids in the beginning of the school year. Well, she sent me a couple of images lately of kids in her class drawing pictures of their mantras, I guess they call them. And a lot of them were similar sayings to what these heart cards were, because she'd been giving the heart cards out. And so she said something like, the cards are really making a difference, or something like
Beautiful.
that. So I posted the pictures of the kids' pictures, and they're amazing.
That's
they're
awesome.
amazing.
That's
so
awesome.
That was really, yeah.
I love that. I just want to tell you, we had comments that say, I love the messages. Those are awesome, beautiful. And I love those cards. Just joining. How can we get these cards to hand out, or are they available? So before you answer that, I want to tell people that if you're in the Spearfish area, you can stop into our store, of course, and grab 1 or 2 or a little bundle. There's several other stores that have them available, but also, Losha, if somebody wanted the cards, how are they available, or is that something they can access through you?
Yes, just with an email would be fine. You can, I actually have an email that's livewithlosha@gmail.com. And you can just email me and let me know you'd like some cards, and I can send you 2 or 3 sets is what I normally do. And just give me your address and I'll ship them to you physically. So I've done that with friends that are all over the United States too. So I really do like to try to get these out into other states across the United States. So I'm very willing to send these out to people.
And are you charging for your cards?
I haven't yet. No. It is starting to add up a little bit, though.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say this on a personal level. You and I will talk about that in a session, right? But anybody who wants some of the cards, I would definitely recommend placing a small donation just to help Losha being able to have the money to have those supplies to create the cards. So the fact that you're still doing them at no cost right now is a beautiful gift, and that may change in the future. We'll state that. But livewithlosha@gmail.com Otherwise, you all know me, and I can connect you with Losha as well. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, they can do that and
Sure.
see about getting some cards.
That would be wonderful. Can I add the other 4 stores that do display
Yes,
the cards also?
please do.
In Spearfish, there's also the Bee's Knees. It's a farmer's market across from Crow Peak Brewery. She's got the cards. And then the Giving Goat Crystal Shop.
Yeah.
It's kind of by Jimmy John's. And Good Earth just recently started displaying them also. So it's wonderful. I'm so grateful that each one of you guys is helping me out with this. I don't like to take up commercial real estate in somebody's shop, so I've been hesitant to ask people to, but it's just a small little display. It's not very big, so.
No, I don't think people mind that at all, especially where you're doing something so amazing and good. I was just thinking to myself, I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner, but I leave for Guatemala Wednesday.
Oh,
And
I'll give you
I should
some.
take some of these with me. Yes.
I just got a brand new batch, so.
Perfect. So we're closed on Monday, but we'll be open tomorrow and Tuesday. So stop in and I'll give you a donation for that. And somebody did say you need to charge a small fee.
Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah, it's a lot of spiritual people. They have troubles charging for things. So.
It's true. But honestly, as you've seen it grow and you know that it's going to continue to grow, to be self-sustainable, you have to allow the love to come back to you.
That's true. When you look at it that way, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. But
I have no
any
idea.
Questions?
I'll have to talk with you about that.
Yes, we'll chat about it. Any questions anybody has for Losha, feel free to post those up before we finish up here. But anything else you want to share about the heart cards?
No, I don't think so much about the heart cards.
Anything
just maybe just general thoughts.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about a lesson real quick that I experienced in the last week, and with the designs that I was doing, the Pleiadian designs. About a week ago, I was looking them up looking Pleiadian designs online, and I found somebody that channeled some amazing looking designs. And I just all of a sudden felt that my designs paled in comparison. And I lost my creative mojo for a week because of that, because of comparing myself to others and comparing my creations to others. And I finally realized I felt terrible for that week. And I realized I just have to do what makes me happy and what makes me feel creative and brings me happiness. And if it brings happiness to others too, that's wonderful. And you can't compare yourself to others. That was a huge lesson for me. And I had a channeled message given to me a few days ago. And it was really interesting because I love the word create. I love to create. And it said, it is through creativity that we know our creator. And I'd never thought of that before. And I just thought, wow, I just love that.
That's beautiful. I love that. First of all, thank you for being vulnerable enough to share that with everyone, because sometimes that is so hard. It is one of the biggest things we do as humans is comparison, right? But we're taught that from a very young age. I always tell people the minute you're born, you're already being judged. Are you a reactive or not reactive baby, big or small baby, right? All this judgment placed on us from the beginning. So we learn it as a normal part of life, but it's not a normal part of life. It's what creates separation. So thank you for being vulnerable with that. And Judy McKay said she loved this session and don't ever compare yourself to others.
Thank you, Judy.
Yes. And I have a great question actually from Barb real quick.
Okay.
She says, is there a difference in what you and Dani do, or is it the same? So I want to answer this, but if you want to answer first, you can.
Sure.
You want me to go
Oh,
first?
first, you go. Why don't you go ahead? Go ahead.
Okay. And you don't have to answer at all if you don't want to, but I
No.
want to tell you this. So what we do is similar in the fact that we're using our intuition and the senses in our body that are the clairs, the hearing, the seeing, the sensing, the knowing, the feeling. So we all have that ability. And so, yes, in a sense, we are using the same senses, and she is listening to spirit the same way I listen to give a message to others. So it's very similar in what we're doing. It would just be labeled differently. Again, labels, right? But Losha is probably more of a channeler at this point, and I probably do more mediumship at this point, but we both have the ability to do all the things. So
Yeah.
yes, that would be my answer in a nutshell, but anything you want to add to that?
There are different tools that are used too, in either with either of us. I use a pen and paper, and we can use tarot cards, we can use pendulums. I guess I'm not even clear about mediumship versus channeling. Maybe I don't even understand the difference between that. So
yeah. So actually, for anyone who might wonder, like, what does that mean? So mediumship is me bringing through messages of validation from loved ones that have crossed over.
Oh, okay.
And your channeling is more bringing through messages from the divine beings on the other side. Very similar, but just for a different purpose.
I have actually done what you've done then too. I've brought through departed loved ones too. So I guess it's
well, and actually that would be what your connection to JFK was, right? Even though it was still channeling, would have been mediumship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I think of it all as one. They're all beings. They're all entities.
It is the same. And it's just those labels that make it separate. I love when people say I'm a psychic, but not a medium. And I'm like, you're both. They're psychic and medium are just labels. You're using your intuition. You don't have it.
It's all intuition. It's all intuition. I mean, I get real excited when people ask, how do I start channeling? Because what I basically tell people is to pay attention to the flashes of insight that you get, because that is the beginning of your intuition and even channeling. I mean, you're hearing something or you're seeing something, or it's flashes of something that we don't believe until we start paying attention to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great guidance. Great guidance.
I guess I would add one last thing about the heart cards. You asked me if I had anything. I guess the only thing I would say is that I feel that the heart cards are a win-win situation. Giving the heart cards to somebody else is awesome, and the reaction they might have is wonderful. Sometimes there isn't a reaction, but I still believe in giving them the card, and I give it with my heart, and I always receive a wonderful feeling from having given it to them. So it's a wonderful feeling on either end, in my opinion. So that's why I really like it.
That's perfect. I love that. You do get something out of it. That's wonderful. Judy said, you are amazing. Barb said, thank you. Lori said, this has been wonderful. Thank you. And Juanita said, thank you for being you. I loved this.
Well, thank each and every one of you for coming and listening to us. This was a big deal. It's the first time I've been on any kind of podcast or interview or anything. And Dani is wonderful. She was wonderful for me to have my first interview with. And it's been very validating for me, and I appreciate all the support.
Oh, I'm so pleased to have had you on the podcast. It is such a joy to spend time with you, first of all. And I hope that everybody will go check out your Facebook page and reach out to Losha to get some heart cards. And thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Always a pleasure to be here with you. Yes. Namaste. And we will see you again on the next episode of Soul Chats with Psychic Medium Dani Jo. So have a great night, everybody. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Thank you, Dani.